One game in and we're already dripping with drama. Time winding down Big Ten semis. The Bank of Bohannon, bang! Open on weekends. The Iowa senior guard breaking a 77-77 tie with a heave from outside. As time winded down, Indiana would get a look from about half court on the way up court, but would not go, and the Hawkeyes are moving on. 3 of Bohannon's 12 points coming when the Hawkeyes needed it most and sending Iowa to the Big Ten title game. 3-point range really proved to be the difference in this matchup. 14 makes for the Hawkeyes to just 5 of the Hoosiers. 43.8% from 3 by Iowa as they come away victorious. Keegan Murray leading all scorers with 32. Let's hear from the hero post-game.
I mean, first off, you hit huge threes down the stretch there. None bigger than that one, of course, which is going to go down in Big Ten history, no doubt. Take us through that shot.
They were just doing a great job denying us the ball. We ran a player. Honestly, we were trying to get him the ball, but they did a phenomenal job late game on not letting him catch it. So because of him, I got a lot of open looks late, and I kind of felt the bank was open after I hit that. It just felt good off my hand for whatever reason.
What was your reaction when that one banked off?
I didn't feel like it was going to go in, but you got a little bit of doubt, so I went to go crash the rebound, but he's a big player, big-time shot maker, so it was his time.
Obviously couldn't get the win with the performance by him today. What is it like playing alongside Keegan Murray?
It is so much fun. He's able to guard every position on the floor. Not only that, he's a phenomenal offensive player. I've had so much fun just getting to know him, honestly, off the court as well. He's just a phenomenal human being. I think the world of him. We're just fighting right now for each other. That's what it's right now. We're not listening to outside noise. We're just doing it for each other.
It's been a long time since Iowa has made a Big Ten championship. What does it mean to get this far and have a chance to hang that banner?
Yeah, we had a lot of goals this year. This was one of them to get here. Iowa hasn't been here for a while. We're just trying to change the standard at the University of Iowa for basketball, and we're kind of doing that right now, and we're just doing this for the people that come next, and it's a good feeling for sure.
We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Jim?
Thank you. Keegan Murray with 32. Look at that embrace. That's college
great.
basketball right there.
All right, so there is work to be done, and here's a look at the road ahead. And then there were 3. Michigan State, Purdue getting ready to tip it up as well. But Iowa lays in wait as they take down Indiana 80-77. How's that for a start? Good time, Timmy Doyle in the fold to break it down. A man who knows Big Ten basketball all too well. Tim, taking a look at the box score here, it was Indiana's game well into halfway through the second half of that matchup. 22-10, they get outscored over the final 5:30 of that game. Where was the switch?
Well, I think defensively, obviously, Iowa turned it up, and then they started making shots. Bohannon made some threes late, obviously capped off by the game winner there. When he went to college in 2016, the Chainsmokers just started dropping their hit single Closer, which makes me feel older because I don't know what year it is anymore after everything we went through with the pandemic. I thought Indiana, even though they lost, helped themselves in this game because they proved over the last 3 days that they deserve to be an NCAA tournament team. Remember, people say, well, you beat Michigan, we're not so sure. But you have to beat Illinois. All right, they beat Illinois, but then it's like, well, let's see what they do against Iowa. I actually thought the game was over. Miller Kopp finally made some three-pointers, and I walked out on set. I went, wow, they're down 9 right now. Like, this game is over. But Iowa has a Kawhi Leonard, Paul George type of player in Keegan Murray. And I think his upside is literally that high.
It's high praise when you start talking about guys of that ilk, and they're going to have to get more from him. How live is Iowa right now? We're about to see some action between Michigan State and Purdue. We kind of talked about it pre-production here, TD. If Purdue is the Purdue that we know and they come out and fully perform, they should have their way with any of the remaining teams in the Big Ten. Do you feel that Iowa matches up decent with them?
When I watch Trace Jackson Davis kind of eat up Iowa down low, that is a big concern when you go up against Purdue because they have so many big bodies that I think it's a bad matchup for the Hawkeyes. But how do I feel about Iowa? I love Iowa. I think that's the reason they have the caucuses there. Like, people are down to earth. They enjoy their sports. They like the simple things in life, and they love their Hawkeyes. But it just seems like every time you expect them to do a big thing, they let you down. And maybe this is the turning moment. Maybe it is having a generational player like Keegan Murray. But didn't we see this movie last year, Joe? It was called the Luka Garza movie, right? They had the National Player of the Year on the squad alongside of Murray and Bohannon. They had basically the same team, but they also had Luka Garza, and they weren't able to get over the hump. I picked them last year, so maybe I'm a little bit jaded because the Hawkeyes were my pick to cut down the nets when it was all said and done in Indianapolis, and it didn't happen. But the way they could shoot it and the way they could score in bunches, I think they lack a little bit of physicality and down low. Obviously, Indiana exploited that today. I thought we learned more about the Hoosiers, that they really solidified their bid.
Yeah, no doubt a highlight for the Hawkeyes, but they're hoping it's not the high point. Let's talk about the Hoosiers solidifying that bid. How hard is it to do what they just did? Now, they do fall short here in the semifinals, but to clip a 1 seed and then come back less than 24 hours later and have legs enough to take Iowa into the place that they took them, what does that tell you about the squad?
You know, I really want to handicap where they go, because this is something you have to think about, right? This was played in Indianapolis. I mean, Indiana is a basketball state, and obviously the Hoosiers run it. There's a lot of great teams there, whether Notre Dame's had great teams, Purdue's had great teams. But what energy did they get from that crowd? How much excitement have they created for the state over the last 3 days? And why I say this was a couple of years ago, Seton Hall went to the Big East tournament, and they won the Big East tournament, and it was electrifying, and the energy there in the Garden was amazing. And then they got into the NCAA tournament. And they played in an arena with nobody there. And it was like a 10:15 p.m. tip. And they got run out of the gym because there was more energy in the conference tournament than there was for the NCAA tournament. So right now, you feed off of that as a player, right? You play a little bit harder on defense, you make a shot, you get that energy from the crowd. So, like, I'm really curious not only who they match up with, but where and what time, because they're on an emotional high right now. Like, if they played tomorrow against Purdue, they could beat Purdue. But now you give them a little bit of a break, send them to a weird region, there's no crowd. Like, I am really wait and see with all of those things with Indiana. But as far as over the last 3 days, hats off to their program, Mike Woodson, they really came to play.
There is never, and I mean never, a shortage in energy when Tim Doyle is in studio. He'll be here all day long. Thank you, TD. All right, taking a look at these two teams, side by side, projected seeds by our Jerry Palm, showing some love to IU, an 11 seed. Nothing is in stone here, as we do need to crown more champions over the next 48 hours, but the Iowa Hawkeyes currently sitting on a 6 line and can probably do themselves some favors with a Big Ten title. 25-9 now on the season.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.